Indiana winning the national title was great for college football. Absolutely phenomenal for the sport. And some have said, well, why? Why, Bryce, is it great that a team that didn't have the 4 or 5 star talent broke the talent composite ranking? Why is it great? Well, one, it's awesome to see the teams that grind their way to building a great staff, building a cohesive 85 to 100 person roster. Those things are phenomenal. And that's great. And you want to see that. So it's a great story about what's happening in the college football world when you get a non-traditional power. I don't want to use the word blue blood, but a non-traditional power making a statement on a national stage. And they did that. Hats off to Curt Cignetti. Hats off to Indiana. The second reason why this is big, and I talked about this on a radio appearance today, and I said I was going to mention it on the show. So if you've made your way over from that radio show, we appreciate you. But Indiana, for me, the blueprint is going to be something that hundreds of teams try to copy. If you're in the middle tier of college football or you're in the lower tier, Indiana was terrible 2 years ago. Traditionally have been one of the worst Power 4 teams in college football. If you were Indiana in this situation and you're a team looking like Indiana, the Hoosiers winning on Monday night gave you a reason to be competitive. They gave you a reason and something to strive for. Now, listen, is it going to be attainable to find your Curt Cignetti? I don't know. But what we have given now the rest of college football is a different way to a title, a different way to strive for. Before Monday night, and really we need to go back because Indiana has been dominant all season long, so I don't want to just give them credit for what they did Monday. But before this season, probably, Indiana might have been viewed as a flash in the pan for a lot of programs. But what they did over the past 2 years, what Curt Cignetti has done, has offered an alternative path for teams that maybe you can't compete in the NIL landscape, that the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Georgias, the Texases, all the Texas schools, LSUs, Bama, maybe you can't do that. And for a while, I felt like there was a little bit of a ceiling on what you could accomplish if you weren't a part of that group. And I think as we kind of sit here now, we look up, and Indiana looked up at it and said, that ceiling's, it's not made of concrete or steel. That's a glass ceiling. We don't have to be held down by that. They did it a different way. Is that going to be attainable? I don't think it's going to be very easily attainable. And I think that you have to say that because you've got to give credit to how hard that was, what they just did. Like, that's incredibly difficult to go 16-0 in this day and age of college football, to be able to do what you did, to get 100+ people to buy into a concept. You weren't the most talented team, but by God, you played like it. You weren't the most lethal offense in the country, but you played like it when it came to matter, and it was played on the field and not on paper. You did a lot of great things this season. You played at an elite level. It's something we'll always remember, and I think it gives other programs something to strive for. Because now you're going to have programs that maybe they're in the middle tier of the pack or they're the lower half of the Power 4, and they say, yeah, we don't have the resources, we don't have the donor base to be able to push for the top NIL budget in our conference. But man, if we ever find that lightning in a bottle with a great coach and that 1 year where you can stack it all together, the chips might just fall our way. And it's not luck that got Indiana in there. It's not just by happenstance that they got in there. No, they worked for it, and it has been the perfect storm. Now, I think Curt Cignetti and Indiana are going to be they're going to be very relevant for as long as Cignetti's there. He's that type of coach. But what I'm saying in terms of the scope of this year, you could not have had a perfect accumulation of talent, coaching, everything just hit right on the money. And it was phenomenal. And so I think, like I said, it gives a blueprint for teams that are maybe not a part of the popular group, not a part of the big spenders. It gives them an avenue to chase. There's going to be 100+ programs chasing the Curt Cignetti Indiana model. Will they find it? I don't know. I don't think Curt Cignetti's grow on trees. I think that's a very unique head coach who's found his way. But what I like about it, in what many people deem a dark age of our sport, and there are things wrong with it, 110%. This, to me, was a beacon of light for programs that feel like maybe we can't compete. That's what you strive for. That's what you go to. So there we go.